So Procter & Gamble released an ad called The Talk. And I want you to see this ad that has a lot of people up in arms. But, you know, it's the same cast of characters that get up in arms about everything. But check it out.
Who said that?
The lady at the store.
That is not a compliment.
Listen, it's an ugly, nasty word, and you are going to hear it. Nothing I can do about that. But you are not going to let that word hurt you. You hear me?
There are some people who think you don't deserve the same privileges just because of what you look like. It's not fair. It's not.
Remember, you can do anything they can. The difference is you gotta work twice as hard and be twice as smart.
Come straight home after practice. You got your ID? Oh, guess I stopped you. How's your review?
We're good.
You good?
Yeah,
You see?
we're good.
Okay, good. Now, when you get pulled over,
I'm a good driver. Okay?
baby,
Don't worry.
this is not about you getting a ticket. This is about you not coming home.
I'm gonna be okay. Right? Okay, baby.
It's not fair. But you keep showing up.
You are not pretty for a black girl. You are beautiful, period. Okay? Don't ever forget that.
Now, this commercial, I like it. I like the message it's putting out, but it's also a message that I'm seeing in this commercial that I did not like. Now, what I did like about it, yes, it is a reality for Black Americans to deal with those issues, which you look at the first scene about a little black girl being told you're pretty for a black girl. And hearing that is not a compliment at all. It's not a compliment to say, oh, you're really articulate. That's not a compliment, because basically what you're saying is, I think a black girl is ugly, but you are a pretty one. I think black people are ignorant, but you're articulate. It's not a compliment at all. We already see through the BS when it comes to that. We have another scene that the little girl is being reassured she is just as equal to them, but she may have to work 2 and 3 times harder to get to where she's at. That's a reality for Black Americans in this country. We always have to work harder than anybody else, period. We don't have a privilege. We have to earn every single thing that we get. And when people hear privilege, it's not money we're talking about. And you always relate back to money, and it's not that. When you have to work 2 and 3 times as harder to get what you have, that means you have a privilege. You don't have to work 2 and 3 times harder to get what you have. It's just that simple. It also covered the situation about being pulled over with the police. That's a reality that we have to talk about with our children in America. Or the little boy sitting at the table and she's telling him, you get your ID, worrying about the police messing with them. That's a reality for Black Americans in this country. Being called the N-word and talking to your family about that. That's a reality for Black Americans. And if you are so offended by that, then change the system that created all that. Then we won't have to talk about that anymore. But this is our reality that we are living, period. And there's nothing I can say that's against those scenes. But let's flip it to what I do have a problem with. In this same commercial, I kept watching the theme. And the theme was you have sisters talking to the children, saying how they feel about the situation, which the black woman has a particular experience in America that's different than any other woman in this country. But I noticed that the black man was just there in a supportive role, didn't say anything. They didn't show the black man speaking to the son, at least that part. Why didn't have a black man talking to his son about how you're going to be viewed as a black man in America? And it's always a theme of letting our sisters talk and not having the black man speak up. It's even like that on television. They have shows all day long of sisters talking all day long about whatever, but they don't put shows together of brothers talking and saying how they feel about the world. You look at commentators on television when they are black people, it's mostly sisters. And if you do have brothers on there, they're very far and few in between. They don't really want to have the black man to have a voice. And showing that commercial saying that black men don't have an experience or black men aren't speaking to their children about these issues, that's the problem that I have really with this situation. But also, they don't want to show black men too much in a family role like they used to back in the day, they say with Good Times or whatever. But black men are very involved in talking to their children. I talk to all my children constantly about America and the world they got to deal with. I got a daughter about to go to college, and I had to talk to her about how she's going to be viewed as a black woman and everything that come along with that. So no one can take that away from me. So it's not that the sisters aren't important, but we are very important in the black community as well. And that's just the only issue that I have with this commercial. The black man must be represented with his children and with the family structure, because they are fine as long as the sisters talking for us and we stay in there docile and quiet. But the black man must speak up for his family and for his community. Now, I'm not expecting them to go on a crusade to make sure they have the proper representation, because remember, all of them have agendas at the end of the day. But we have to make sure to speak up as black men and say, look, we are important fathers. We are husbands. We are friends, cousins, uncles, and we have a great impact on our children and other family members' lives. And our experience in America is just as important as our sisters' experience in America. And because our experience, we deal with the brunt of the hatred. The black man is the most hated because that's the way they have created it. And as a black boy that's going to grow up, you have to communicate that hatred to your son and say how he's going to be looked at, how he's going to be ridiculed, or whoever he picks to date or marry, or, you know, the workforce, how he can have the proper education and still be turned down. But see, a Caucasian male with a high school education will get a job over him, become his supervisor, and he don't even have a degree. But the black guy have a master's degree and he can't even get there. That kind of stuff you have to talk to your sons about outside of all the police stuff. It's a lot of stuff you have to talk to your kids about. And black men must be represented. So that's just, like I said before, it's just the only issue I had with it. But I do agree with the message of what we do have to talk to our children about. But let it be an accurate representation, because black men are heavily involved in their children's lives. Even the CDC had put that out. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you think about this. Share the video, like the commentary, subscribe for more news stories.